So, and with that, we are almost at the end of the webinar already, but not with one last word from Christian Mietz, basically, who started the webinar and who's going to end the webinar as well with a little overview of what is happening in the industry, what is IATA doing in that regard, how are they moving forward with the topic of electronic fueling. So Christian, welcome back on stage. Happy to have you again. And as I said, stage is yours. You can start with your presentation.
Yeah, hello again. I would like to talk a little bit about the IATA initiative concerning e-fueling and some related topics. IATA offers 4 fuel-related message standards, which is 10-bit, the latest development, and the most ancient one and the most successful one, the invoice standard, in between the transaction standard and the operational standard. I would like to talk a little about the operational standard because that is the one used for e-fueling. The operational standard is based on ADIX. ADIX is the standard for ground-ground communication. It is an abbreviation for Aviation Information Data Exchange. The ADIX standard is used for ACDM, which is Airport Collaborative Decision Making, and it is made for exchanging information related to flights and related to the ground activities of flights. The ADIX standard is used by airlines, airports, and ground service providers. It is made for exchanging data for ground operational processes, which might be rotation data of aircraft, the aircraft type, registration, delay, flight status, and so on. It is used by all ground processes like catering, cleaning, cargo, and so IATA decided to incorporate the operational fuel standard into ADIX. ADIX is not made for exchanging commercial data. It is just operational data which is exchanged. ADIX as a IATA standard is made for the ground-ground communication. So everything is ground-based. The communication between the aircraft and the ground is done via ARINC. So since refueling or e-fueling refers to both, to the air-ground communication and to the ground-ground communication, both standards have to be used or can be used. So the communication between the aircraft and the ground module, is done in ARINC M633, and from that ground module with the interplaners is done in ADIX. IATA has some activities. Now all 4 standards are there, also the operational standard, but not the entire or not all the needs of e-fueling are covered yet. In some countries or some customs offices in particular countries, they require still wet signatures. There are European laws out, and I think in other countries there are corresponding laws out that electronic signatures have to be accepted as long as the signature, the e-signature, is a qualified one. For a qualified signature, a trust center is needed. So IATA is working on this problem. They have a focus group started especially for this, one big focus group or general focus group in IATA, and a second one especially related to fuel topics. And that is something we can expect some developments in the coming year, in 2021. Apart from that, IATA is generating implementation guides, which makes it easier to implement the messaging on both sides for the intraplanar, for the mineral oil industry, and also for the airlines. This implementation guide contains even message examples, which makes it really, really easy. For further developments of the operational standard, it is like with any other standard in the industry, IATA needs some contribution. So if someone of you volunteers, please make the contact with the Fuel Data Standard Group of IATA, and your contribution and cooperation is very welcome. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
And here I'm back again. So thank you, Christian, for those insights. As you said, questions. I don't see any in the chat right now, but I have one question, maybe a topic we should maybe pick up on what we talked about a couple of days ago, and that's the topic of the e-signature. As you said, this is also an initiative that IATA is very much interested in and driving forward. Can you give some insight? Can you give the audience some insights on that, maybe?
For the e-signature or for a qualified electronic signature, a trust center is needed. So the trust center delivers these certificates, which can be used on both ends. And the plan or the idea is that IATA either delivers or either works as a trust center itself, or that IATA cooperates with a central trust center, which can be used by any airline or any participant in the process. So it's really crucial to use one trust center, because that makes the communication between all parties very, very easy. And that is what it's all about. So the operational standard is already prepared for exchanging the certificates. It is just a matter that the trust center is not yet there. So that is, it seems to be easy, but that is a lot of administration work and clarifications and contracting, but that is IATA's specialty. So I'm sure they make it next year.
Okay, so basically everybody has to get on the same table and move on with the discussion, so we can have one standard that is unifying the aviation industry in that regard. Exactly. Okay, so maybe a shout out to all of you that are listening right now. If you're interested in e-signature or participating in the initiative, talk to the IATA representatives, as Christian already mentioned in his presentation before, and hopefully we can move that topic forward even faster, and as you said, maybe have it in 2021. So with that, I think there are no more questions in the chat. I want to thank you again very much, Christian, for this outro, let's say, and we hope to have you on stage again for one of our next webinars.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.